I had a very interesting experience today with nerve conduction testing. I I struggle to talk about this because I'm still a little agitated from the experience. So a nerve conduction test is what they do when they want to discover if and where there is potential nerve damage. So because I've been having some trouble with my foot that it is suspected it could be related to the nerves, I got a referral to go to the neuromuscular clinic, and they told me that the appointment would take about 3 hours and they were going to do some testing. And that's about all the information that I got. So I got there, and I mean, I kind of immediately knew I was in the wrong place. I just got this feeling like this is not where you need to be right now. So in the testing, essentially what it is you're getting electrocuted over and over and over again as they test different spots along the nerve pathways to see if they get conduction. So I get about 10 minutes into the test and I start having a bit of an anxiety attack, at least what I assume was some kind of anxiety attack, because I've never had what I would classify as an anxiety attack before. So those of you who have had one, you can tell me it sounds like an anxiety attack, but I started to not be able to breathe fully. I started crying. I started getting really hot and sweaty, and I just wanted to yell at the technician to stop. And I really wanted to hurt him. It was a very interesting emotional experience. And really physical too. Like there was actually no real emotion in it other than get me out of here. This hurts. This is alarming my system. And so he stopped and a doctor came in and was talking with me about it. And he's explaining, well, the purpose of the test is to find the damage in the nerves if it's there. So if you don't do the testing, you're not going to know. And what I suspect is that you probably have some nerve damage that might be coming from the lumbar plexus where the nerves come down to meet the foot. And I was still kind of crying uncontrollably at that point and unable to control how my voice was coming out. So I essentially yelled at him like, no way, cannot do this. It was just a straight up no. I actually, at that point, it felt like I would rather have foot pain for the rest of my life and go through another 90 minutes of that, because essentially, like, it was going to be a 3-hour appointment. So probably about half an hour or so I assume I'd be spending with the doctor. And then the rest of that appointment was probably going to be me getting electrocuted. So I was like, no, I'm actually okay with having this foot pain right now if it means I can avoid going through that torture. And the reason I'm telling this story is because it was actually rather inspiring. And now that the agitation has calmed down a little bit and I can talk about it, I mean, I've been through the spectrum of feeling exceptionally vulnerable and disempowered lying on that table and getting the nerve conduction testing done, to feeling the empowerment of rage surging through my body. And I want to talk about that empowerment rage for a moment, because I actually feel really hopeful right now. After the testing, maybe some of you have felt this way before, like when you have not been able to physically put yourself through an experience because it was too painful, but there was a goal of the experience. It was to get information. So there was a part of me that felt like a failure because I wasn't able to put my body through the pain to get the answers. But then another part of me thought, well, if I did get answers, what are they going to suggest I do as a solution? I have been exceptionally disappointed in the the quality, the depth, that's the word, the depth of wisdom that the medical system, I mean the conventional allopathic medical system, can give about the musculoskeletal system or pain in general. Pain in the body, pain in the bones, joints, muscles, mean, maybe not pain in the bones, but hopefully you know what I mean. My experience of having body pain and going to the doctor has mostly been take this pill, painkiller, muscle relaxant. And so I don't have very high hopes that if I did get any information about, we can tell you exactly where you have damage. And that word actually is a little alarming. It can be empowering. I mean, it can go either way. The word, if you hear that you have damage to a part of your body, if you're the kind of person that's motivated by facts, like you have damage here, and you can go, yes, okay, I can work with that. I mean, that's great. I'm kind of that person. I know some people, if they hear the words, you have damage here, they will be paralyzed by fear and not knowing what to do and despair. So I think one thing, medical system, it would be good if they were a little bit more aware. I don't know how you want to phrase that differently, because I happen to like factual words like damage. But anyway, so it created a sense of urgency in my brain that I thought I liked it. I was like, thank you for telling me that you're looking for damage. And now I know what we're doing here. But knowing me, knowing how I would react, I'm predicting they would have recommended some kind of treatment involving surgery, medication. I don't know what the third option would be. Surgery, medication. Those are the usual medical routes. So even if I got that information, you have damage to this nerve, I would actually be more inclined to try to take matters into my own hands using the tools kit that I have and my network and my resources of people with knowledge. I would do pretty much everything possible, movement-wise, nutrition-wise, and get out into probably some woohoo energy land stuff to avoid having a surgery. So knowing that that's where my mind would go, I'm starting to feel like I can release a little bit of that feeling of I'm a failure because I couldn't put my body through that pain. I think I did the right thing. The doctor said that about 5% of people, I don't know where he got the statistic, but he said 5% of people have my kind of response to that neuroconduction testing, that is just intolerable for them. So maybe I am overly sensitive. And maybe that's not a bad thing, because I think if our body is telling us something like, you should not do this, this is way too uncomfortable, maybe that's something to listen to. And the funny thing is that having gone through that, I feel so empowered right now. And part of that is I never want to put myself in a position again where I have to do that kind of testing. And I know that's probably impossible. There's things we can't control. But thinking back on what led me to need to go in for this testing, if I had in the past listened just a little bit more to the signs and signals that were leading to me having this foot problem in the first place, I would have not have ended up in that hospital room today. If I had listened a little bit more closely to the clues leading up to the onset of the pain, I don't think I would be having this problem. So what's empowering about this for me is that now I get to make a choice to listen better in the future, because I know where it leads when you don't. And I find that tremendously inspiring. And today, after I got the volatility out of my nervous system and calmed down a little bit, I went for a walk, and I felt that, I was going to say, this joyful rage. That's a weird combination of words. But it was like this uplifting rage of, I'm never going to let that happen to me if I can control it ever again. And now I know the importance of listening. Part of me is wondering if this whole 6-month thing is just, I needed to learn how to listen to myself. I think that's all I have to say about that for now. Yeah.